Hello, Tea Party Caucus, and thank you for having me this morning. I come before you speaking about H.R. 2306, which is a bill that would decriminalize marijuana and leave it up to the states to decide what to do with it rather than the federal government. When approaching the issue of marijuana legalization, often it is met with social stigmas, negative social stigmas, and public health concerns. But at the root of this issue is states' rights versus federalism. And when I got to the opportunity to speak to you Tea Partiers about the constitutionality of marijuana decriminalization, I became excited because you all are proponents and strong believers in states' rights, individual freedom, and limited government. And these are ideas that I share and ideas that resonate beyond party lines because they are foundational to our republic. However, states' rights has been ever on the attack by the federal government, and states and individuals are restricted in their rights to choose what they put into their bodies. This is a detriment because it undermines our whole establishment of a country as fleeing a country that restricted the rights of individuals, and now we are now doing the same. Peter Cattell, an award-winning writer, recognized by the American Press Institute, stated in 2011 that the federal government has become a parasitic entity which controls our lives through its opaque and malevolent machinations. And this is a detriment that needs to be fixed. So in this speech, I will argue that states' rights have been limited in relation to drug laws because federal government has overreaching powers. There are three arguments to support my thesis. First, I will argue that states' rights have been limited in their governments over civil liberties by overreaching federal government. Second, I will argue that H.R. 2306 will remedy these problems by allowing states the right to decide what to do over marijuana. And third, I will argue that should states choose to legalize marijuana or decriminalize marijuana, that crime would not increase but rather decrease. I'd like to start by explaining or arguing why states have been restricted in their rights by the federal government. Federalism has, over a great many administrations, hindered the rights of states and individuals to make decisions for themselves. And this undermines the integrity of our republic as well as our Constitution. Our country was envisioned as a place not where the federal government blankets the entire country in law, but rather a country of individual states who would decide to have their own laws that serve to differentiate themselves from each other. This would allow individual citizens to choose which state they want to live under and under what legal jurisdictions that they will live under. And this choice is denied to them under federal drug policy today. States' rights are a foundational part of our republic, and you can look no further than our Constitution to see this. The 10th Amendment states that the powers delegated to the United States, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited to it by the states, are reserved to the states or to the state or to the people. This, in effect, gives states sovereignty to make their own laws that can, in potential, trump federal laws. This idea is echoed throughout many law professors and historians. Professor Gary Gerstle, professor of American history at Vanderbilt University, wrote in 2010 that the powers given by the Constitution to the states were vague and virtually unlimited. States are given the rights to effectively trump the federal government when they do overstep their power. And this is also echoed through our founders. Thomas Wells writes for the Ludwig von Mises Institute in 2007 that founders such as Thomas Jefferson stated that individual states should have the right to overturn federal laws that they deemed unconstitutional or detrimental and predatory federalism. This principle is continually echoed by the Tea Party and is strongly held belief of the Tea Party. And anybody who holds the beliefs of individual freedom and states' rights can see many reasons to oppose the federal exercise of prohibition. But this can be remedied through H.R. 2306. And H.R. 2306 is a bill introduced by Republican and Tea Party Representative Ron Paul and Democratic Representative Barney Frank. The bill has bipartisan support in the Congress, which is something that not much legislation can say. Representative Barney Frank, co-sponsor of this bill, stated later in 2011 that prosecuting responsible adults who make the choice that they want to use marijuana is a restriction of their personal freedom. And this is very true. H.R. 2306 would take away this restriction by taking marijuana off of the Schedule I drug list. The Schedule I designation means that marijuana has no medical value. Individuals, patients, doctors, and parents would then be given the right to decide if marijuana does in fact have medical value, rather than a federal bureaucracy. This would ensure that states' rights as well as individual rights are upheld, and the principles of our Constitution as well as our Republic are enforced in our contemporary society. Although there are so many reasons that may resound and resonate with all of you concerning medical marijuana that I have brought forward, there are many other voices that bring contrary notions. And Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney is one of those opposing voices. He stated earlier last year that marijuana is a gateway to drug use in our society, which is a great scourge and is a cause of crime, and this is simply not true. Marijuana, the first part of this statement is a farce, and the gateway drug theory is just a rehashing of the Reagan-era gateway drug theory, which has been disproved. Marijuana will not lead to harder drug use, and this has been proven through medical studies. The flip side to this statement is that marijuana will not cause crime. In fact, the crime that is associated presently with marijuana is associated with this illegal, nonviolent consumption and illegal and violent trafficking. If you make marijuana legal or decriminalize, the illegality of its consumption will go away, no matter what its source. And patients and marijuana users will be given legal alternatives to marijuana, which would take the funds from the marijuana out of drug cartels, thus eliminating violence. Crime would, in effect, decrease because all the revenue would be taken away from illegal drug cartels that is associated with marijuana. And states would be able to fund themselves through taxes, taxation, and regulation. The drug would be strictly regulated so that children and minors would not be able to gain access to the drug, just as tobacco and alcohol are regulated by the government. So all the safety concerns surrounding marijuana are completely unfounded. And in this speech, I have explained why states' rights have been diminished by the federal government, and this undermines and threatens the principles of our republic. I have argued that states' rights have been diminished, and this is a serious issue. I have argued that H.R. 2306 addresses all of these issues so that the fundamentals and principles of our republic are continued throughout our present society. And I have argued that crime would not increase but rather decrease should H.R. 2306 be enacted. Now with this, U.S. Tea Partiers can truly vote with your conscience and your principles, and you can go out and be the voice for your constituents who are crying out for an actual voice and a say in what to do with their own bodies and their own lives. And you can enforce autonomy throughout our society. Thank you.